Parashat Balak, we meet one of the worst antagonists of Jewish history, Bilam, who comes to try and curse the Jewish people. But God tells him that as much as he will try to curse the Jewish people, all of the curses that he will utter or try to utter will actually become blessings for the people. There's one of these blessings that is very, very famous. Ma tovu ohalech Yaakov, how wonderful, how positive, how good are your tents, O Jacob, and that is a wonderful blessing which we include in our prayers each day. But there's another one which is perhaps a little bit less famous, and that's one I'd like to consider for a moment. When Bilam tells the Jewish people, or refers to the Jewish people as Hein Am Levadad Yishkon, in chapter 23 verse 9, he says that this people will dwell Levadad. Levadad translated by many as being alone. And at first glance one wonders, what exactly is the blessing in being alone? Of course, after a year of COVID, many of us have struggled with that loneliness. We've struggled so much it seems more of a curse than a blessing to be alone. But the truth is that levadad doesn't necessarily mean alone in the sense that we imagine it to be, free from anybody else there with us. The word isolation in Hebrew is certainly linked to the word levadad. When we talk about bidud, that is the modern Hebrew phrase to talk about isolation. Lockdown has been referred to as bidud. But I actually think that the word levadad has a number of positive connotations and I think lessons for all of us to be able to take away with us. First is the idea of being set apart. When we refer to someone being alone, doesn't mean that they are alone in the sense that nobody is with them. Sometimes that can mean that they are set apart in the sense that a leader is set apart. When you appoint somebody to be a leader, they in a sense are set apart from everybody else so that they don't need to be dragged down into all the mundane, into all of the madness, into all of whatever else is going on in life. That ability to be able to sort of cut through all of the regularity of life and to be able to focus on a mission, to be able to push things forward. And in that sense, I think that is one blessing that hopefully we have as a people and as individuals we are able to take. To be levadad, to be able to be a little bit set apart, to be able to recognize that even with all of the things that go on around us, that we're able to continue to focus on our mission, to be able to drive morality forward, to be able to continue to be good people, even when others perhaps are not, to not be influenced by all of the trends that necessarily are around, and to be able, as I said, to continue to have that single-mindedness, which I think can be very powerful, yet still connecting to others while still, as I said, not being alone in the sense of loneliness. And the second translation of the word levadad, I think, is to borrow the term in Hebrew of hitbodedut, which means to sort of take oneself away, to have like an inner focus, to be able to spend time focusing inwards. And that's perhaps been one of the positivities of isolation, or perhaps the occasional isolation, to be able to take time away to think, to consider, to not necessarily rush into judgment in every moment when everything happens in that very, very second, to feel the need to comment and to feel the need to respond to everything that happens. Hen am levadad yishkon is perhaps an encouragement to instill in us this sense of hitbodedut, to go away, to consider, to think about what has happened, to think about how we're going to respond, to think about how we want to change. Do we want to change? Is this something that is positive? Is this something that's negative? Is this something that I'm going to take on board? How exactly am I going to change my life, perhaps influence others as well as a result of this? That's the idea of hitbodedut, of hein am levadad yishkon, to be able to consider things, to be able to not feel pushed into a rushed decision, to be able to be measured and balanced, and be able to know that when we actually come to a decision, that it's going to be the right decision, it's going to be a positive decision, it's going to be something that we're going to do with the intent of helping ourselves and helping others and making the world ultimately a better place. And while the loneliness, of course, can be a curse, can be something that is difficult, Hein am levadad yishkon is up to us to create a blessing, to be able to make sure that this is something positive, that we're able to continue our mission, our personal mission, our national mission, and our mission to hopefully make the world a better place for everyone in it. Shabbat Shalom.